Welcome to Tenacious Entrepreneurs, where perseverance meets purpose and every setback is just another step forward. Join us as we dive into the journeys of entrepreneurs who faced failures, embraced change, and emerged stronger than ever. Whether you're dreaming big or already on your way, this podcast is here to remind you that the end is only the beginning. Stay inspired, stay tenacious, and let's conquer the entrepreneurial world together.
Well, welcome back to Tenacious Entrepreneur Podcast. Today we've got a special guest here in the house is Kevin Kitchen. He is a CPA and an MBA, which is sort of a unique thing to have together. It's sort of like, in my mind, like dealing with an artist and someone who sells the art.
Yeah, exactly.
Because most of the time when you're talking to a CPA, a lot of times like they don't understand business.
Numbers.
Yeah, it's just numbers. They don't understand that 90% of it's passion.
Yeah.
So MBA, like you went out and got both of them. But thank you for being on the show, brother.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
I appreciate it. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to get to know you a little bit. Yeah. So tell me a little bit about yourself. Like, where did you grow up? What was your...
Great. Okay. I'm a lifelong resident in New Orleans, Louisiana. Grew up in Bucktown, which is right on the other side of that 17th Street Canal from New Orleans. Went to Brother Martin High School, graduated in 1986.
I was baptized by fire. I had to learn like Uptown, Bucktown, NOLA.
Yep.
I'd tell somebody, well, we're here in New Orleans. And they're like, no, you're not. You're in Metro. I'm like, okay, dude.
Right. Well, yeah.
You're in Kenner.
Little canal.
You're
one
in
little
Kenner,
canal.
dude.
Yeah,
you didn't know you were in
canal.
Kenner?
Yeah. What's the directions here are river, lake, Gulf, and something else, I think.
Yeah, west of the canal, south of the canal.
Exactly. Yeah.
But anyway, so you grew up here. So you're an Orleans boy.
Grew up here, went right to school, college at University of New Orleans. And I went to grammar school at St. Pius X, which is on the lakefront also. So I spent somewhere around 16 years of formal education, all within 3 or 4 abutting zip codes.
That's interesting. Did you grow up like with brothers or sisters, or you just?
I am the
child?
middle of 3. Middle of 3 boys. God bless my parents.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That's something like my parents had 3 as well, and it's like it's funny. They the generation behind us, that was common, and what I see now is like a lot of kids nowadays. One kid, maybe 2.
Well, because it costs so much to raise them right, I believe.
Yeah. I got 5 kids,
5.
And I was one of 3.
Right.
But my 5 kids were fruitful. I got 11 grandkids, so.
That's great.
So yeah, man, that's it was be fruitful and multiply. It's funny. I talk to people that are not from the South. They don't understand the good Catholic, upbringing.
Right.
Like we were raised like, hey, dude,
Yeah.
you go to mass and you make sure you have children.
And
Proliferate.
Follow the 10 Commandments and proliferate. That's
Proliferate,
right.
man.
Yeah, propagation of the faith, right?
That's right, man. Hey, we're growing the church one family at a time. But so anyway, so you grew up. You went to Catholic school.
Yes, went to St. Pius X for grammar school, Brother Martin High School for that. The brothers actually there at the time actually approached me to actually become a brother.
Okay.
Yeah. So I always had that calling, to be honest with you, but sometime around my sophomore year, I fell in love with my wife, and that was that.
Yeah.
So
you couldn't pursue that end of it.
Right.
They have a brotherhood though that you can go into that's actually not full blown priesthood, right?
Correct. They're not ordained priests, but they are clergy. They're considered clergy, and they
like in the Baptist church, would be almost like a deacon.
Correct.
Same,
exactly. Yeah.
Same concept. So did you ever pursue that, or you just?
I did not pursue that.
That's interesting. Yeah, my full experience with the faith with that. My dad. I grew up. My dad was Catholic. Mm-hmm. My mom was Baptist. Mm-hmm. So when they got married, they went to the Methodist church. Right. I was like a middle ground. Right down the
middle. Both of them were a little bit upset.
They both were a little bit upset. Yeah. But So I grew up with like it was funny, man. My dad would curse you a blue streak. Get out of the blankety blank bed. Right. We're going to church.
Right.
My mom would be like, "Oh wait, you can't, CJ."
Oh, my pearls, right?
Yeah.
My pearls. Yeah.
So I grew up in definitely a bi religious house, and so I mean, were your whole family is Catholic?
My whole family was Catholic.
Yeah.
My roles were reversed in my house. My mom was the iron-fisted one.
Okay.
My dad was always like, let's talk about this. We'll get through it. My mom was always the,
Yeah.
you boys are going to do this and do it well. So
Yeah. Yeah. It
Yes,
was.
ma'am.
It was
Yes,
definitely. So for me, like I feel like that there was like a difference in the regimen of it.
Right.
Like my mom loved God and was very like committed to God. But like if we'd skip church, she'd be like, "Hey, let's go have a picnic.
Right.
Let's go to the zoo."
Yeah.
My dad was like, "Dude, I don't care if you're coming home from the strip club. You're going to
Go to
church.
church?
You're going to church, boy."
That was more like my parents.
Yeah,
Yeah, we're
yeah.
going to mass, come back home, we'll put a chicken in the oven, and you boys go out and play.
Go out and have a good
Yeah,
time with that.
yeah.
Hey, I mean, it's a different generation too. I mean, like I can't imagine growing up. My dad lived in New Orleans whenever well, it was before I was born. But my brothers, he lived there with my brothers, and actually he lived here. He lived in New Orleans before that. He lived when he was a child. He actually has
Okay.
pictures of him down around Marketplace in diapers, running down a Market Street.
Isn't that great? That's
yeah.
just great. Where the roots run deep.
Yeah, man. So I mean, it's funny. Louisiana, everybody has a story. I think that ties back to New Orleans.
Right.
It's just like one of those cities that like captivates you, whether you came here for Mardi Gras as a kid or you did whatever. But so you grew up in the actual Orleans proper, like
I was in Jefferson Parish.
Jefferson
just
Parish, okay.
a little bit across the 17th Street Canal.
Okay.
From Lakeview.
Okay.
I could probably throw a rock 3 times and hit Lakeview. I was
Okay.
that close.
Yeah.
My parents were one of the first on their street out there. West Esplanade was a dirt road. Veterans Boulevard was a dirt road, and now they're 2 and 3 lanes wide.
Yeah. It's crazy. I remember, when I got married, I married a girl that her mom was assistant DA here in New Orleans. And that went good and bad. But she was assistant DA. And so I remember coming to her house. She lived right off by the college, by Loyola.
Yeah.
And so she lived over there in that area. And I remember her house was like this big blowed out $5 million mansion.
Yeah,
and
uptown,
it backed up
Right.
to a shanty,
Correct.
shotgun shack.
Yeah.
And
Exactly, yeah.
she would have, she'd have neighbor parties, and it was nothing for her to have every element of
Right.
life represented at the party. It was a gumbo.
Isn't that the beauty part about living here?
It is,
Yes.
man. Like
Yes,
it
is.
It's
Yes.
the. I mean, sure, there's some racism and stuff like that, but I don't feel like inside of New Orleans. I feel like it's a lot
Right.
more laissez.
Yeah,
Laissez-aller. How do you say that?
Laissez les bon temps.
Laissez
relais, I
les
believe.
bon temps relais.
Yeah.
My mama would kill me. I didn't know how to say it.
Yeah, I think that's part of the beauty of being down here is that everyone behaves and everyone lets each other live, right? And accepts accepts each other.
There's a lot of grace here. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of grace for like, okay, you're reading tarot cards and you're you're at the Catholic. They read tarot cards in front of the Catholic Church.
Right, they do. Yeah, they do.
In the square.
Yep.
So like I mean, there's a lot of grace and a lot of forgiveness and stuff. So you grew up with 2 brothers, being the middle brother. That they always have that middle brother syndrome.
Yeah, I was.
You always try to achieve.
The oldest got all the recognition, and the youngest got away with murder.
Yeah. So I was the youngest.
Okay.
And my brother, I can say just from my experience with my children, my first one was the trial and error. It was like, let's try this. Oh, that didn't work. Let's try this. Oh, okay, that don't work
poor
either.
Kid.
The poor kid,
Yeah.
dude. He went through so many trial and error. By the time I got to the second one, I had things sort of down pat. I got the third one. It was like easy, man.
Right.
It was coasting. So for you, like, were your parents like, you're the middle child, so like, did you have like a lot of rules and?
We had a decent bit of rules, but a lot of leeway as well.
Okay.
My dad found everything we did funny.
Give me the age difference between your brothers. So like
my
5 years. 10
my older brother's 3 years older than I am.
Okay.
And my younger brother's about 4 years younger than I am.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So it was the younger brother was young enough that he didn't get into your business whenever you started dating girls.
No,
and stuff,
not too much.
And
Not-
the older
not too
one
much.
was old
He-
enough that he could
he
sort
was-
of be the cool brother that.
And he was able to take me under his wing
Yeah.
and explain things to me and say, look, this is how it works in real life and stuff.
Yeah,
like
I
that.
explained to to somebody one time, like my brothers, I had 5 years old,
Right.
5 years, each one was 5 years older. So like I had 5 and 10 years older. And I explained to him, like, by the time I got to be 13,
Right.
I'd experienced so many things that,
Yeah.
that my teenage, my
Exactly, yeah.
friends had not experienced. I mean,
You knew what to expect.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh,
Yeah.
dude!
Yeah.
I was like full blown handling myself like a 20-year-old.
Right.
By the time I was 15, I
Good.
was,
Yeah.
and that was good and bad. I mean, I had like, I got exposed to a lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have,
Yeah.
and I learned a lot of things. But anyway, so I wanted to know your background, sort of get
Yeah,
to know who you are
absolutely.
and
Good.
like what
Good.
your
Yeah.
what makes you tick. Everybody has a different thing, like only children and middle
Yeah.
children and everything else.
Right.
But so you grew up, you went to college at University of New Orleans.
Yep, went to
So
UNO.
UNO.
Started in 1986. Got out with my bachelor's degree in 1990. Then the job market was so bad back then, I decided, well, let's just stay in college and get the master's degree, which I was going to go back and get anyway. So 92, I received my MBA from UNO as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so you get out of college and you have 100 job offers and you just lice a bowl of cherries.
Don't I wish, right? Yeah, don't I wish. But get out of college and job market improved a little bit.
Like 94 is when you got out of college?
92.
Yeah, 92. Okay.
Got out at 92. Job market was a little bit better. I got one offer and I took said offer. Didn't have a lot of choice there. So December of 1992, started the career.
So you went to work for who? Like
I went to work for Bourgeois Bennett, which is a kind of mid-sized regional firm down here.
We call that a boutique firm.
Boutique firm,
There you
yeah,
go.
exactly. Good. I started out in the auditing department there.
Okay.
Yeah. So then, still dating the same girl, fell in love, like I said, got married in 1993.
Okay.
About a year later, I was still at Bourgeois Bennett. Her dad's also CPA. Her dad said, hey, I need some help over here. Why don't you think about switching firms? So he made me a nice offer, moved over there. Spent about 8 years with father-in-law. He taught me the ropes of public accounting, taught me the ins and outs, kind of showed me how things should be worked, that kind of which way. I'm not saying Bourgeois Bennett didn't. I am saying that it was hard to do that on a personal level, being such a big firm.
Bourgeois Bennett was teaching you the practical stuff of how to be a good CPA.
Yeah.
Your father-in-law was teaching how to be a CPA that owns a business.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
and that's the difference is that one was abhorrent to teaching you how to run a business because they didn't want competitors.
Right, exactly.
The other one was trying to make sure his daughter was provided for.
Right, exactly.
So I get it.
Yeah.
That makes sense, man. But growing up with, I can tell you, I worked for my dad from the time I was 10 years old till I was probably 18, and that was the hardest person I ever worked for in my life, man.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, and about 8 years later, you understand that a lot of times working for family doesn't work out a lot.
It's tough.
So yeah.
It makes really hard, like when you don't want to be at the family reunion because you're like,
correct.
I don't want to hear one more story about why didn't you do this and
business,
did you get that business and
So
it takes a little bit, man. Like so you transitioned out after 8 years. You decided I'm gonna start my own.
Yeah, well, not yet.
Okay.
Not quite yet. So I just we had a child. Wife and I had a child, so money was pretty paramount. I came to father-in-law and said, look, I've received this offer here. Can we match it? And he said, well, good luck on your next stop. I said, okay, thanks. I appreciate that. I do. Sincerely, I appreciate it. And went to, that was with a small boutique firm in Jefferson Parish. And from there, now I had a daughter, so we're going to go back to religion for a little bit. His clientele was a little bit more adult themed. More of the places in the French Quarter.
Yeah.
Things. Okay. So.
It wasn't Quarter Two Sisters. It was.
It wasn't Quarter Two Sisters. Yeah. Correct.
It was Courting Two Sisters.
It was exactly. Which, if that's your thing, I got nothing against. Again, also back to the grace and acceptance and everything. But
but I get it. It was a different type of person too.
Yeah.
Like I find that I give you a story that you'll appreciate. So I started a firewood company delivering to restaurants and stuff like that back probably, I don't know, 12, 14, 13 years ago.
Right.
And I started it because I had the trade group. We had the secure trade. Back then it was just 225 trade.
Yeah.
But I had a restaurant that was, I'm trying to think of it, it was Voodoo Barbecue, that
Yeah,
was wanting to
okay.
get firewood
Right.
for their restaurant. I couldn't find anybody to deliver firewood. They're all crackheads, and and I don't want to disparage every firewood person, but I'm just saying, like at that time, that you'd call somebody and be like, "Yeah, bro, I'll be there in 15 minutes."
Never
like
show up.
3 days later, you never heard from them.
Right.
And so I was I was getting a lot of referrals because people would call us and we'd show up.
Right.
And it was always like
Go figure, right?
consistent.
Yeah.
And I hired a crew and stuff. But at that time, at the very beginning, I was just doing it by myself with my daughters and my kids and my sons. And I got a call from a guy in New Orleans, and he said, "Hey man, I need you to bring me some wood." And I was like, "Okay, where you at?" "I'm in New Orleans. Can you deliver that far?" "Yeah, no problem. I'll deliver New Orleans." He said, "Listen, you got to be here before 3." And I was thinking, well, that's a restaurant.
Okay,
They don't want you to be in the evening
Right,
crowd.
exactly, yeah.
No big deal. I said, I said, no big deal. He said, "Listen, if you don't get here before 3, they're going to close the roads." And I was like, "Close the roads? Like, maybe there's construction going on or something."
Exactly, yeah.
So I get in park, and I call the guy, and I'm like, "Hey, I'm here, but I don't see where to go." And he said, "Well, you just got to follow that street." I was on Canal. He said, "You got to follow the street." He was on Bourbon Street, next door to Barely Legal.
Oh, for Pete's sake! Yeah.
I parked in front of Barely Legal. I was like, he had to talk me on the phone. Like, I parked in front of Barely Legal in my truck, rocking back and forth, and I was like, my wife is going to not understand this at all. My daughter was not with me this time; it was just me.
Yeah.
And so I'm delivering firewood next door to Barely Legal, and I'm literally, you can't bring a wheelbarrow down the alleys.
No, you cannot.
Because in New Orleans, most people don't know it, but in New Orleans, that the buildings were built, back in the 1800s, or whenever it was. Well, the alleys are like maybe 24 inches wide.
Right.
Like
they're just enough for
they're
like
just
a
enough for
person,
you to shoulder. Like sometimes you have to turn sideways to get down the alley.
Yeah.
And so I'm in this alley with all kinds of filth on the ground because I'm on Bourbon Street. Everybody goes to the alley to throw up.
Yeah.
So there's everything everywhere. And I'm delivering in a trash can, the only trash can that would fit down the alley.
And
I throw wood and I'll deliver.
yeah.
And I never forget, people would stop me on the street while I'm like, "Hey man, where do you give me
What
some
you
wood?"
got there? Yeah, what you got?
Send me some wood. I literally almost created a T-shirt that says, "I got my wood on Bourbon Street." I was. It was definitely
would have sold well, I'm sure.
Yeah. So anyways, I'm very familiar with those guys. Like it's a different, it's a different person, different personality.
Correct.
Like they're very harsh and very, very difficult to deal with. If you get something wrong, there's no mercy from that guy. So I get it, man. But so anyway, you went from dealing with that,
and then I decided, well, this isn't really my scene.
Yeah.
It's
you had
great.
a daughter, and it's like I want to go.
Had a daughter in Catholic school. If one of her friends' parents sees me going into one of these establishments in the middle of the day, and again, nothing against anybody who does that, just not the look that I wanted to portray. Okay?
Good idea. That's not a bad idea. Things we did as teenagers is not necessarily the things we should do as fathers.
Right. Agreed.
Yeah, but anyway, so you moved on to this other firm.
Yeah. So I moved on to another firm, and actually it was moved on. I took an internal job at East Jefferson General Hospital at the time in their accounting department, and at that time it was right when they were doing a big changeover. They needed more CPAs in there, and I was one of them. I enjoyed my time there, and I also realized that being an in-house accountant wasn't for me either. So because that's totally different.
Totally different. Same thing every day, over and over again.
Same thing every month, monthly reports.
Almost like a data processor.
Yeah, exactly.
Just keying in the things and
almost
coding
what
stuff.
AI could do these days.
Yeah, coding and keying in.
Right.
So I get it. They don't have paralegals for the CPA firms.
They do not.
Yeah, there's not like a second tier down. Like, hey, you do all this dirty work. Like, no, you do all the mundane stuff. So I get it. So when did you actually progress to like, hey, I'm gonna transition to my own business?
So at the hospital, they changed over CFOs at one point, and he brought in his whole new people, his whole new staff, all the way down to my level, which was about senior accountant is what I was at that time. So that was somewhere around January, February, March, somewhere up in there. So I went back to like a CPA firm that I knew, and I said, "Hey, tax agent, need some help?" And he's like, "Absolutely. When can you start?" I was like, "I can do it right now." So went on board with him, and then around, I did that to about August. Put resumes out, feelers out, job applications out. Not much was happening. So around August came, and the wife and I sat down. We had a talk, and she's like, "You know what? I think you can do this. Let's do this. Hang your own shingle out."
I got to. I'm gonna pause right there for a moment because I'm gonna tell you, like, having the belief of a wife that actually says, "I think you
Yeah.
can do this,"
Yeah.
is like is
Correct.
probably the hardest thing in the world to
Correct.
do.
Yeah.
But matching that with the personality, or at least what I've experienced, you can tell an engineer when you're talking to an engineer at a party. You know,
Right, yeah.
you can tell. So like your personality is one of weights and measures,
Yeah.
and so for you to take that launch out to start your own thing had to be a really
It was
big deal for you.
It was
because you weighed it out.
It was
I'm
terrifying.
sure. Yeah, you weighed it
It
out.
was terrifying.
Like, it had to
And
be.
here I am. I've got a couple little clients because I always kept a little book of business for myself on the side, right?
Yeah.
I did some
Bookkeeping,
accounting,
yeah.
bookkeeping, and tax work on the side. Here I am now as a side gig. Now I've got to grow this thing into help provide for all three of us.
Right.
So I did it also without. So a little backstory. A lot of times when guys open their own CPA firms, they'll go ahead and raid the client list of the firm they're working
Right,
at the
right,
time.
right.
They'll bring their own. I didn't have that luxury. I really kind of built this organically on my own. You know,
It has a lot to do with your
yeah.
integrity.
Yeah.
Thank
you.
That's awesome
Yeah.
that you didn't raid the cookie jar.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I know whenever I started the trade association that I started,
Mm-hmm.
I started after I sold the RV dealerships and everything that I had, and I remember when I started, the first thing that happened was somebody came to me and said, "Hey, you need to go down the list of your competitor and
Right.
call every single one of them,
Right.
tell them that you're going to
Yep.
start this
Yep.
thing." And I said, "Look, if I can't win people over by our own merit,
Correct. Yeah.
like I want them to come over to me,
Yeah.
and that'll be fine. It's not that I'm going to stop them, but I remember my pastor told me something one time. He said, "Look," he said, "I don't proselytize." He said,
Right.
he said, "If a sheep happens to wander into my pasture, he said, I'll fatten it up enough that it can't fit through the gate." And he said, "But I'm not going to go over there and try to pull it out of another person's pasture."
Correct.
And
Yeah.
same thing is like having a business acumen of not that's lost a lot of times.
Right.
I
Right.
see young people all the time that they'll come out and start bad mouthing their competitors, or they'll try to figure out a way to raid the cookie jar and steal everybody from them. The problem is you're still in the good, the bad, and the ugly.
Yes.
You don't
That's
know
correct.
what you're getting.
That's correct.
And usually only the good, only the bad and the ugly come with you.
Right. the ones that they really
That's what I'm saying.
want
The one-
anyway.
the ones they didn't want anyway.
yeah,
Like they're the
yeah.
ones that come to you, and it's like, okay,
Yeah.
like you're better off not doing that. So,
Right.
so that's good. You start your business without that, but you didn't have a backstop. You didn't have
Start-
anything to fall back on.
Nothing to fall
This was,
back on.
let's launch it
just let's launch and it says, look, we believe in you. Let's get it done. So
Yeah.
a lot of hard work, tons of hard work, as you know.
And this was what year?
This was about 15 years ago. Remember 2010,
Okay.
2010, somewhere up in there. Yeah.
So it's past Katrina. You were
Yeah.
here. You were here during Katrina, huh?
Here during Katrina.
So where were
Yes.
you at during Katrina? What was that?
I evacuated to Mansfield, Louisiana, which is where we have some relatives at. They've got a nice house up there. We all would go up there and we watched all the carnage from the living room up there.
Yeah, I tell people that haven't experienced it. Like we experienced it in Baton Rouge was a lot better than here. But I tell people, everybody was affected. Either you got damage or you got people.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Well, either way, your life was completely affected.
Turned upside down.
Turned upside down. I remember we had 16 people at one time in my house.
16.
16 extra people,
Yeah,
in my house.
Yeah. My parents lived with us for about 18 months.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact.
Yeah, it wasn't, and that's what most people don't get. Like they see it on the news and like, hey, it was over with in
Right.
8 hours,
Yeah.
But the rebuild,
That's-
the aftermath was just like
the
brutal.
Insurance fights and
fighting with everybody.
getting contractors lined up, having them come out like you're saying.
Yeah.
Good luck getting those guys to show
Yeah,
up.
I actually pulled my contractor's license after the flood. I didn't do it in Katrina because I had the RV dealership. But after the flood, I was trying to get people to repair my parents' house.
Right.
Had 8 foot of water in it.
Yeah.
And every time I would call somebody, they would either jack up the price or it was all kinds of stuff. But I finally, where I stopped, I started doing the project myself, and I was like, I'll just, hire my guys and bring it in and do it. Well, the city came in and said,
Okay.
you have to have a contractor that tells you that they can do this whole job for less than half the cost of the original house.
Right.
In other words, if it was worth $100,000, you have to do it for $50,000 or less.
Otherwise, they're going to raise it.
Otherwise, they're going to make you raise it,
Yeah.
and
Okay.
12 feet or whatever, 8 feet, however much water and
Wow.
all that kind of stuff. And so I was like, okay, well, what do I got to do to be able to do that?
Yeah.
And they said, well, you got to be a contractor. So, well, I got my contractor's license. I was like, okay, I'm a contractor.
There you go. Yeah.
So it was a necessity.
Yes.
But it was just, there was so much horrible stuff going on, man.
Yeah. There was.
I ended up doing a bunch of different families in the neighborhood because it was an older neighborhood, older families. And,
Right.
And so I just took care of everybody there. But yeah,
That's great.
That was a
That's
crazy,
great. Yeah.
crazy time, man. So during Katrina, you excavated. Did your house get damaged or?
My house was okay. I got
Okay.
water from the roof failed, and I got a little water from the roof damage. Other than that, though, it was livable.
you didn't get
It didn't
the 18 foot of water that came
did not in Lakeview area.
Yeah, Lakeview
and
area. It
then
was
the lower 9 got bad.
Yeah, 94 got some crazy.
So
I remember.
okay.
I had friends that were in boats on the outskirt before the Cajun Navy was formed. They were in boats, and we were trying to get people out.
Right.
And we were at the bridge, and you could hear people screaming help.
Wow.
And the Coast Guard or the Navy came in with machine guns and U-boats, or big rafts or whatever, and they stopped us, and they said, you can't go in there and get them. And we're like, well, why are you here and not over there?
Right. Why aren't you doing this?
You don't hear that person screaming help?
Yeah.
Like, that's not our assignment. We're not supposed to get them out. We're supposed to keep them in.
Okay.
I was like, okay.
Wow.
So that's it was a different world, man.
Yeah.
It was definitely a different world. Unless you lived through it, I feel like that most people don't understand it. How it
It's
went down.
probably as close as I'll ever come to living in a third world country.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was definitely like
Yeah.
that. So you're in. You come back. You just do your.
Come back. Yeah. Then start a couple years later, open my own firm and go from there. Just start building a client base.
Yeah. So did you get into after Katrina? There was a lot of money that was out there for rebuild, restructure,
Yes.
and it was really hard because you had to keep track of everything.
Right. Correct.
As you're rebuilding.
Correct.
Did you get into that? Like
I did get into helping clients. Look,
Keep track of everything.
Yeah. Let's put this on a spreadsheet. Open another checking account. That kind of thing.
Yeah,
We'll really keep track of this.
Yeah, to where you can actually keep track of it and
Yeah,
know where it's going and stuff. Because I imagine that was probably a super hard thing. And then there was this money that came out after a while.
Yeah.
That came out with money, but you had to prove that your income, and you had to prove
Correct.
certain things.
Correct.
And if you didn't file your
You've
tax
been
returns,
here so long. Yeah.
you had to make sure that you did everything. So anyway, so you started your business and you grew your clientele. And obviously, you eventually went. At what point did you feel like, okay, I'm stable?
Oh heck, that was probably
there
about
yet?
almost. All right, no, that was about 5 or 6 years in, I'd say,
Yeah.
somewhere around 2012, 13. Somewhere
For
up in
for
there.
CPA, is that like 100 clients or 1,000 clients or
Yeah,
10
well,
clients?
that's enough to meet my obligations, to meet my bills.
Yeah.
And
But
it's kind of different for everybody.
Yeah, so it's different depending on the level of clients
Yeah,
you get.
yeah.
So you deal with mostly mom and pops, or you deal with
So
with corporations?
The clients that I target and the clients that I like are like mom and pop shops. Let's say the small pool boy shop on the corner, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they're doing $600,000-$700,000 of business in a year. They need help because they want to make roast beef, right? That's what they want to wake up in the morning, put the roast beef on, slice it up, serve it. Everything else you take care of. That's the kind of clients I like.
Yeah.
The sales taxes, the bookkeeping, the payroll, the annual taxes. Yeah,
that's a lost art, man. There's not a lot of those kind of CPAs out there anymore.
Right.
Most of the time, like I have to have I have a tax attorney. I
Right.
have a CPA.
Yeah.
I have a bookkeeper. I have an accountant. I mean, like I got like a list of people. So you're sort of filling all those.
I
as
fill all
best as
those guys
possible.
up, as best as possible, answering any notices they may get. I do have some help. I have a bookkeeper that helps me out.
Yeah.
very much.
Yeah, well,
So,
and you got to have staff, but
Yeah.
I'm just saying is that to be able to take it all on as a firm,
Yeah.
it was it's tough,
And-
taking all that on and doing all that. And
growing
handling
it the way I grew it, I also have connections. So I tell my clients, look, if you ever need a plumber, reach out to me. If you ever need your grass cutter, reach out to me. That kind of thing. Looking for a place to rent. I've got a bunch of clients who rent real estate around.
It's funny. That's actually how I ended up starting the trade group. Was because I was always that guy from the time
Yeah.
I was probably
Exactly,
15.
yeah.
My buddies would call me and be like, "Hey, man, where do we get this? What do we
Yeah.
do with that?"
Yeah.
But I was always that guy
Yeah.
that people could call and get things done.
Yeah.
Because I knew somebody.
Right.
Yeah, I got somebody for that.
Got a guy.
I got a guy. I got a guy. I'll take care of you. Forget about it.
Yeah,
But it's so it's interesting. So you grew up like that, and so tell me about going back. Did you have any pitfalls? Any things that like struck you as like, okay, I don't know if I'm going to be able to continue. Like,
We need about 40 hours of continuing education a year as a CPA. So, question is, the surgeon that used to like do open heart surgery on you needs about 25 hours. I need 40, right? Why do I need 40 hours, right? I have no idea. So that was always a little bone of contention for me. Like you said, getting enough client base up to where we could cover the bills. Those first 5 years were a little bumpy here or there, but after that, we did really well.
Yeah.
Thank God.
Yeah. So it's and you said you have a daughter, or how many?
I have one daughter.
You have one daughter. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you go,
Yeah.
man. That's she got the whole world. She became the whole world for you. Is she married or?
No, she's still single right now.
Okay. Throw up a picture of his daughter. No, I'm just kidding. For all you entrepreneurs out there looking for something.
Get your number if you want. Yeah. But yeah,
So that's how old is she?
she's 24. We'll
Okay.
be 25 next week.
Yeah, I got a 24-year-old.
Yeah.
My 24-year-old's in Colorado. She went to the Navy and she's single.
Good.
She went to the
Good.
Navy and ended up doing 4 years in the Navy, and then got out on a disability charge because she was working in the facility that does all the computers.
Yeah.
So it messed up her hearing.
Oh,
But
sorry.
it wasn't
I'm
like
sorry about
to the point
that.
you
Yeah.
wouldn't notice it. But I
Right.
mean, she tested and
Yeah.
it was actually a blessing. They gave her a permanent disability for
Good.
forever, and so she used that to go to college, and now she's at
Excellent.
college in Colorado. She's studying to be basically not a counselor.
Yeah,
I'm saying
okay.
consultant, but
Yeah.
a counselor.
There you go. Yeah.
But she wants to help kids that are struggling through sex trafficking and stuff like that.
Isn't
So
it
that's sort
great
of her-
when your kids want to help out the
Yeah,
next generation?
it's funny. So
Yeah.
she was in charge of security, cybersecurity for the entire Pacific Rim in San Diego, where she was
Right.
stationed, and so she had prior knowledge to, I mean, a ton of different types of. She programmed retinal scanners and
Right.
all this different new age high tech
Wow.
stuff.
Yeah.
And so when she was getting out of the Navy, she had job offers for people to
Right.
go make great money in California and everything else. And she said, "Dad, money's not everything." She's like, I gotta
Good.
pursue what I feel like is going to be my passion.
Right.
And so she went off to that.
I-
For me as an entrepreneur, I was like, wait a second.
Yeah. You got to be happy.
Yeah, but ultimately,
yeah.
like, she's so happy,
Yeah.
man, like pursuing it the way she has. But so, what does your daughter do? Like, is she
Mine, she graduated from musical theater
okay?
with a musical theater degree from St. Mary's University up in Winona, Minnesota.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of my daughters graduated with a musical degree. She went to St. Louis.
Yeah.
I always pick on her because she went there to go to college. She came back with a guy.
Where'd that guy go?
He was one of the professors.
That's good. Good.
Yeah, they had a professor that was her age. She was older than going to college. She was like, 27, 28.
Right.
And I remember when she went off to go to college, it was one of her friends was going, and just last minute whim, she was like, "Hey, why don't you come with me? Like, we'll go." She'd already graduated LSU, and
Sure,
so she
yeah.
was like, "Yeah, I'll go." And I remember her having the conversation with me, like before she went. She said, "Dad, I just don't know that I'm ever going to get married. Like, I
Right.
feel like I'm just going to be single forever." because I
Yeah.
set my bar so
Correct.
high
Yeah.
that I don't know that I ever find anybody to meet that.
Yeah.
And I said, look, just go along with your life. Just keep digging the ditch that you're in.
Yeah.
And eventually you're going to look up and there's somebody digging a ditch in the same direction as you.
Keep pounding the rocks.
You can just
Yeah.
merge those ditches
Yeah,
together. Let's build in the
exactly.
same direction.
Yep.
Don't worry about stopping digging the ditch to go try to find somebody.
Right.
That's when you
Right.
get in trouble.
Yeah.
But so anyway, your daughter's 24.
She's 24. She's doing her singing, dancing, acting stuff, and doing well with it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
So, I
Yeah,
mean,
she's-
did she?
I'm real proud of her.
Yeah.
as a
Does she
matter of fact,
perform at any of the
She does the Jefferson Performing Arts Center.
Okay.
She does a lot of the community theaters around town. So she does really well with it. I'm
Excellent,
happy.
man.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah.
So what's her name?
Her name's Katie.
Katie.
Katie
Yeah.
Kitchen. Good.
So
Good.
Good to
Excellent.
have this time with you, brother.
Loved it. Enjoyed it a lot.
I appreciate your
Very
time.
much.
Thank you so much.
Yep. All
All
right.
right.
Thanks.
That's it for this episode of The Tenacious Entrepreneur. Thanks for tuning in and being part of this journey. Are you an entrepreneur with a tenacious story? We want to hear from you. Visit our website, tenaciousentrepreneur.com, and click on the Tell My Story link. If you got something valuable from today's episode, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share it with a fellow entrepreneur. Keep pushing forward, and remember, the end is only the beginning. A new episode drops every Wednesday at 7:14 a.m. Until then, remember to stay humble, stay focused, and be tenacious.